It's raining, of course, right now after Arkansas lost 63-31. I'm not even that upset that it's raining. I mean, I'm upset about the game. The back of my neck is so hot that it actually feels pretty good. You know, at some point in the game, you go from just being pissed off, and I'm still, you know, thought we were done with this. I thought we were done seeing these ass kickings at home, but we're not. We're still seeing it. Ole Miss has got, you know, better program, better thing going, better NIL, better players, better coaches, just a better thing going than Arkansas does, and that's really sad because historically, at least during the time of the SEC, Arkansas, that hasn't been the case. Arkansas has had more resources than Ole Miss, and they've clearly fallen behind. And you know, I know people want me to just like load up on Sam Pittman in the press conference, but it's not what I'm going to do. I mean, he knows what's at stake, and you almost feel like you go from maybe securing yourself a little bit to like kind of worrying about it. You can't just lose games at home 63-31 to a rival in Ole Miss. And I don't know, it's not Lane Kiffin or Ole Miss's job to stop scoring, but man, usually there's a decorum where you're up 32 points and you don't run 4 verts and throwing it to the end zone. There's a lot of records set in this building today, and a lot of close ones. I mean, like you're bringing up names like Chad Morris when Alabama put 65 on. This is like the second most points that anybody's put on Arkansas in this building. You got a guy that catches 5 touchdown passes. That's you know, a record against Arkansas, a record for them. 254 receiving yards, records. There's a 55-year-old record at Ole Miss for total offense set by Archie Manning in 1969 that was broken here today. For all that, there's a lot of trash in this place. For all that, you know, Travis Williams has done here, a lot of good things defensively. This was just like, it's almost like they've got all like they know exactly what you're doing. Even Sam Pittman said we got to like self-scout ourselves because it wasn't like they were just going up tempo. They were checking off back and forth, like waiting to see what they would do. But like, you know, early in the game, you've got 8 Wright, the tight end, he's targeted 7 times. He makes 7 catches, maybe eight in a row. Had a couple touchdown catches. Like, they're going to this guy. They're going to use him. Somebody guard him. Or Watkins. I mean, how does a guy that has 4 touchdown catches be so wide open? How do you let a guy, I mean, he was wide open on that 5th touchdown catch. Like, not just wide open, but like busted wide open. Well, a lot of work to be done with this program, and it's frustrating to hear that too. It's like, you know, I feel like we go back and we do this. Like, it's already, it's not like just like everything gets better because we go back and we fix the problems. Like, we're in the game, like we're in the moment. It's not like everything can just reset, you know. People are gonna turn on this program. They're gonna turn on, like, you're gonna lose some of your most loyal people because of the way this game turned out. I've always said I like Sam. I do. This is just, you can't have games like this in this stadium. I mean, anywhere against SEC competition. Like, yes, last year was some issues. Yeah, I don't know if I can get out. Here we go with this narrative again. I'm not locked in. But I'm gonna have to figure this out. Come on. Well, might have a problem. I just want to go home. I always got to say congrats to Ole Miss. Congrats, Ole Miss. You're way ahead of where Arkansas is. I don't understand how last year's team, the 4-8 program, as crappy as Arkansas was, can go on the road to Oxford and play them to within a touchdown, 27-20. But this year's team, which is clearly better, just gets the dog crap kicked out of them in their backyard in front of 72,000 people. They came out to watch this crap. Arkansas can't, like, if Arkansas play, there's two things that have come to light so far. Number one, Arkansas's offense. If a team does a good job at getting to the quarterback, then Arkansas can't stop them. And you think about like LSU, you think about Texas A&M, and then of course this team does it better than anybody in the country. They got to Arkansas 8 times, 8 sacks in this game. So that's a big problem for this team. They can't stop a team that's good at getting to the quarterback. Like, Arkansas beat Tennessee. Tennessee was second to last in the SEC in sacks. They're not a good sack team. Auburn gave Arkansas some trouble. The difference was just, they turned the ball over 5 times. But Auburn was a pretty decent sack team also. But Arkansas didn't put up a bunch of points offensively. The other one is an older quarterback. Like, Arkansas does great against freshmen and redshirt freshmen, but when they face a guy that has any level of experience, and Jackson Dart's a really good quarterback. That's an NFL quarterback there. He's got NFL receivers. They were without their best receiver today, by the way. That didn't hurt them. But if they face a guy who is a veteran quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, Jackson Dart, they're going to face one against Texas in 2 weeks also. Then they just really struggle. This program we're at a point where they're good enough to beat bad teams. You may argue that Arkansas is a bad team. I'd argue that they're a mediocre team, middle of the road. A lot of fool's gold with that Mississippi State game, which is why I was saying let's wait and see. Let's wait and see if this offensive line is taking a big step forward or not. Because Mississippi State was the worst sack team in the SEC, dead last at getting to the quarterback. But yeah, Ole Miss, this sucks to say, but they are the model for what Arkansas should be doing. Ole Miss is a football program. Everybody comes in and rates talent out of Mississippi. So yes, they produce a higher level of talent per capita than Arkansas. Much higher, actually, but they had to share with Mississippi State. Alabama's coming in there to take their athletes and stuff. But they've embraced NIL, and guys, again, I'm not taking anything away from Ole Miss. That's an expensive defense that they have. It's a really good defense. I made a stupid joke about, hey, Ole Miss fans said that when I predicted Ole Miss to win 31-24, there's no way Arkansas was going to score 24 on their defense. Who looks like a fool now? It's just a joke. If we don't have sarcasm at this point, we have so little, right? So, yeah, a lot of records set against Arkansas. This program's in really bad shape. They can't beat good teams. They're better than they were last year, as weird as that is to say. But it's not that much better. The results, you can't talk about how much the team has improved over last year when you get your ass kicked, and you give up 63 points to anybody in this conference in this stage, And I've said, Pittman made some mistakes last year. Obviously, hiring Dan Enos, a lot of problems with that team, and has corrected some of them. But they it's just not a big enough step forward. And the problem is, you just lose pieces of your fan base. Your fan base starts to get complacent. They start to feel like, okay, we're never going to get to where we need to be. And it's hard to overcome losses like this, guys. Arkansas in the second half of the season the last couple of years has looked really bad. There's some really bad losses. Auburn last year, just getting your doors blown off. And they're at home. They go on the road and actually compete. But they come in front of their home fans and just, and they beat Tennessee. Kudos. That Tennessee game was great. I'll never forget it. It was an amazing experience. But when you do something like that and you beat a team like that, and then the next week or a couple weeks later, you get the crap kicked out of you by Ole Miss at home, it just makes people think you can't trust them. You never know what to expect with this team. Good SEC teams are competitive, even though they lose, even though they're overmatched, they still find a way to keep the game close. And guys, I also thought, again, Steve Spurrier used to say, we'll stop throwing downfield when they stop blitzing our linebackers. And I'm not saying anything Ole Miss is wrong for doing all this stuff. But what I am saying is, it's almost like, and I went and looked, like I never go look at the halftime handshake or the end of the game handshake, but I wanted to see if like is something going on here, because what Lane Kiffin was doing, like 4 verticals, up 32 points, keeping Jackson Dart in the fourth quarter when you're up, again, 32 points. Things like that you do that to disrespect the opposing coach. You do that to because, and I was talking to an Ole Miss guy. He said, like, against Georgia Tech last year, Kiffin said he didn't run up the score because the Georgia Tech coach, not last year, maybe, whatever. He said he didn't run up the score on him because he's on the hot seat. I don't know. I get trying to set a record, but he already had a record and he was still in the game. So I'm just thinking, like, is there something going on here? Does Kiffin want to just humiliate Sam? Because, I mean, that's the only reason you would do that. But anyway, yeah, the back of my neck is still hot. But Sam knows what he's up against, and I think that's why you see, like, people in the media were much harsher on him last year because it was more up for debate. Like, you guys are tanking, you're not playing well, or you're worried about your job security. And this year, like, everybody knows what's at stake here. There's no reason to, like, go in there and, like, hound Sam Pittman about questions that everybody knows the answer to, and Hunter Yurachek knows the answer to. Like, as much improvement as you want to make, yeah, but like you just can't give up 63 points to a rival team like that in your backyard, and expect like the fans to just be like, okay, well we'll rally and we'll work on it, we'll self-scout and figure things out, and we'll get it right next week. It's like you're already in the middle of the test. It's not like this is some other test for something else. So I don't know what's happening there. All right, that's it. That's the walk and talk. I don't even know what I said. I'm sure it was crappy. Just like this game, just like this weather. It's finally cleared up now that I'm inside, of course. All right. That's it. Good job, Ole Miss. Made a really nice hire in Lane Kiffin, and got your NIL figured out. All that stuff. You should be proud. Arkansas, can't say the same thing. It's been Trey Biddy with HawgSports.com. We'll catch you next time.